Hello and welcome to the Tell Me More Collection Connection webinar sponsored by Brodart. We're really excited today. We have some amazing titles. Erica Summer, Susie Hawley, and Gwen Vanderhaag will be talking about a great selection of books, picture books, middle grade, graphic novels, board books. We're really excited. We are covering January through June, and we have specific authors and publishers that we're going to be highlighting and talking about. So I'm going to hand it over to Erica. Erica, it's all yours.
Thanks. Okay. Hi, everyone. I think most of you know me by now. I'm the Children's and Young Adult Programs Manager here at Brodart, and I'm thrilled to present these highlights from the first half of 2024 along with my colleagues today. I'll let Gwen introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Gwen Vanderhaag. I'm a children's and teen specialist in the Collection Development Department.
And I'm Susie Hawley, and I actually am teen and Gwen's counterpart, or not really, just teens team, I guess, because we're both in children's and young adult literature collection development.
Okay. And then first off, here is next slide, please. Here's a QR code linking to a list of today's titles and bibs, our searching and ordering database. You can also access the list via the bit.ly link shown here. And then next, I wanted to quickly highlight a few of our programs, starting with our 2024 Summer Reading Prize Program, which runs through August. As you can see from our catchy phrase here, we have plenty of titles to fit both the CSLP Adventure Begins at Your Library theme and iRead's Read, Renew, Repeat theme, focused on the idea of conservation, plus a boatload of recent and forthcoming titles. We have just over 600 eligible titles available at deep discounts. The QR code here takes you to our webpage, where you'll find links to each of the lists noted here. And if you are interested in learning more, please reach out to me with any questions you might have or to get started with a quote. My contact information was listed on the last screen, and you'll see it again. And then next up, I wanted to highlight Bookworm, our monthly youth services newsletter. A code to sign up for the newsletter is provided here, and issues arrive toward the end of each month. Within, you'll find useful thematic and hot topic selection lists, along with a monthly updated Did You Miss It list containing hot titles published within the last 6 months that are in stock and ready to ship to you. This list can be very helpful when you need to spend grant and budget funds quickly. Recent Bookworm issues focused on refreshing your nonfiction collection, decodables and phonics with series breakouts, and of course our 2024 summer reading program offerings. And finally, here are several next of our additional service offerings. We tested our first orders with Bound to Stay Bound this week and look forward to being your provider of their best in the industry pre-bind editions going forward. Reach out for more information on any of these. And finally, I would love it if you followed our Facebook page, where you'll find breaking news as well as invites to our webinars, book trailers, and other timely updates. A QR code to follow that page is here as well. Now, for some excitement, let's dive into the books with board books, picture books, and easy readers presented by Susie Hawley.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. We're so happy to have you with us. Now, the first book is a perfect example of a title with the CSLP theme in David Unger's Jose Feeds the World, beautifully illustrated by Marta Alvarez Mayans. Next. It's a true story of Jose Andres, a successful chef who heard about the terrible hurricane that hit Haiti in 2010. He gathered friends and they flew to the island and began cooking beans and rice. He founded the World Central Kitchen, a disaster relief organization that has fed over 200 million people affected by natural disasters around the world. Next. In Anita Crawford Clark's The Story of Sojourner Truth, We discovered about a woman being bold and brave. It's one of several in the biography for young readers series for 6 to 8-year-olds. Did you know that Sojourner Truth's real name was Isabella Baumfree? Next. And another example of the theme is The Girl Who Figured It Out, written by Minda Dentler herself. Next. She tells about her life's journey from paralysis as an infant in India to becoming the first female wheelchair athlete to complete the Ironman World Championship Triathlon. Then, in We Dream a World, Yolanda King, the granddaughter of Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King, delivers a stirring tribute to her grandparents. She speaks to children everywhere about her hopes for a new future. And in her latest book for children, Dear Ruby, Hear Our Hearts, civil rights legend Ruby Bridges responds to letters. Next. She's received letters from thousands of students with ideas and concerns that ran deeper than we grown-ups give them credit for. Okay? Now, for some important family stories. In Lindsay Harriet's board book, it's a they, the new baby is here. And in We're Happy You're Here, an inclusive picture book, we see that there are many paths to becoming a family. Now, notice these insets because they are from It's a They. They will choose their gender identity when they're ready. Told in rhyming verse and accompanied by warm and snuggly photos of babies, it's a welcome baby book for all. And in We're Happy You're Here, next, nods are given to surrogacy, adoption, single parenting, and alternate family structures. Contemporary illustrations depict a variety of diverse families and the people who support them. Now, for some soon-to-be hits from authors and illustrators you know well, we'll tell you about 2 books. Oops. Sorry, guys, I got displaced a little bit. First up is 10 Little Rabbits, a playful counting extravaganza for the youngest child. And the other book we see on this screen is from the Geisel Award-winning creators of See the Cat, channel their comic sensibility into a rousing alphabetical exercise in thinking outside the box. And if we look at some insets from these 2 titles, we'll see that the first one continues Maurice Sendak's legacy. And the second one, David Rochelle and Mike Winnetka share a laugh-out-loud primer on subverting expectation that will have readers clamoring to play Go and Get themselves and competing to see who can come up with the most creative answers. It sounds like fun. Now, do you have a favorite book? One that you carry with you wherever you go? Well, meet the child who loves books in my book and me. And next to that, you'll see what do we know about hippos? About superstar Sandra Boynton told us that hippos have a reputation for wild parties and they even go berserk. Now, in some insets we see from my book about me, a lyrical tribute to the joys of books and reading by Newbery medalist Linda Sue Park, and featuring the jubilant illustrations of celebrated Caldecott artist Chris Rashka. And in Hippos Remain Calm, hippo protagonists are not the same wholehearted party animals Boynton portrayed more than 45 years ago in Hippos Go Berserk. But make no mistake, these hippos are living their best, totally centered lives with mindfulness. Speaking of mindfulness, spiritual activist and racial justice educator Rachel Ricketts has given us an inspiring picture book, All I Need to Be. And on this same page, you'll see another book about mindfulness, Bunny's Most Fabulous Vacation Ever. The insets will show us next that Rachel Ricketts guides children in heart-centered and mindfulness-based practices in the face of fear, anxiety, and racial injustice. Hold on to what matters, she says, to joy and being free. And Brian Fitzgerald, in Bunny's Most Fabulous Vacation Ever, has penned an hilarious and relatable tale about mistaken first impressions, meanness which gives way to kindness, and an enduring friendship between two of the most unlikely neighbors in a tale of tolerance, understanding, and harmony. Coming up are a couple more stories about friendship. Jump for Joy is a charming and imaginative tale of friendship and how delightful it is to have a furry best friend. And Cranky is a debut picture book by author Phoebe Shum, and he has partnered with New York Times best-selling illustrator Pete Oswald for a very funny picture book. Now, in the insets, you'll see for Jump for Joy, a pig-tailed youngster who, in a polka-dotted dress, who longs for a dog. A big dog, a little dog, a spotted dog, a curly dog, it didn't matter. But she's willing to wait. Jump, a playful pup, also has a wish. He longs for a kid, a big kid, a little kid, a spotted kid, a curly kid, it didn't matter. In Cranky, you'll see that he is having a very bad day, and he doesn't want to talk about it. After the other vehicles give him a little space, he regains his composure and is warmly welcomed to a party. On the next page, we're going to see some self-esteem titles. We'll start with Fiona Caswell's The Boy Who Loves to Lick the Wind. And we also see on this page, Stuart the Good-Hearted. The Good Heart, a heartwarming tale that reminds us that even the smallest gestures can make a world of difference. And on the insets for both, you will see and meet the boy next door who has autism and has extraordinary love for the wind. You should try it, says his mom. All the best winds are on the beach. So two boys, one who doesn't always speak with words, set off for the beach. As the day unfolds, the boys discover a common delight, the simple pleasure of licking the wind, and they do it together. Their new friendship is a testament to the power of understanding and acceptance. And in Stuart the Good-Heart, get ready to be inspired and entertained by Stuart's epic adventures, filled with humor and heart and the transformative power of kindness. When a lion with a leaky heart needs help, the Inside Scouts know exactly what to do to help the kind lion. And we're going to see another lion on this page. It's a real lion story about a stuffed animal with a lion heart. And on the next page, we'll see how the scouts help the kind lion. They put on their suits and they grab their tools and get ready and get really, really small. They go inside the lion to find the leaky spot and they fix it together. This series introduces beginning readers to the human body through mammals with similar anatomy, and it does so in really fun ways. And on the next page, you're going to see more about the real lion story, about a stuffed animal with a lion heart, as we said. Leroy's life with Addie is great. She brings him along almost everywhere and gives him 1,000 hugs a day. But a movie about wild lions sparks his curiosity. Could there be more to life than cuddles? What would it be like to live like a true king of the jungle? Leroy is about to find out. Now, let's join Bat, Cat, and Rat on their 3.5 sweet and silly roommate adventures in the hilarious picture book, the first of a series from New York Times bestseller, Amy Dykman and Mark Teague. And on this same page, we see the cover for Luigi, the spider who wanted to be a kitten. Let's look at the inside. We see in the Amy Dykman and Mark Teague book what happens when 3 friends move in together in the cozy home. Will they remain friends? We'll see. From another dynamic duo, Michelle Knudsen and Kevin Hawkes, we get the Luigi story. It's a warm and delightfully fuzzy storybook about learning to be and be loved for exactly who you are. And on a street of old houses, a big hairy spider finds a home. But when he wakes up, he finds a hand reaching for him and a lady proclaiming that she has always wanted a kitten and will name him Luigi. Well, life is grand for Luigi, but how long can he pretend to be someone he isn't? Okay, now let's turn to Rocket Ship Solo Trip and Pretty Ugly. I'm sorry, we're at Pepper and Me. Now, in Rocket Ship Solo Trip, it's a delightful full of rhyming stanza and pictures by New York Times best-selling illustrator Scott Magoon. And in Pepper and Me, it's an utterly enchanting and unexpected tale from international picture book star Beatrice Ewamangna. Okay, let's see the inside of these two. Rocket Ship Solo Trip explores all the complicated emotions of big firsts and reminds readers that no matter how far they go, the ones they love are always close by. And in Pepper and Me, we see an utterly enchanting and unexpected tale, as I said. It's a childhood mishap is the occasion in which a girl learns about growth and self-reflection. It's a stunning picture book about a little girl, the scab on her knee, and the healing they do together. And it gives us insight to children's emotions. In this beautifully gross picture book, next, which is Pretty Ugly, and I love it, Anna von Ogre's lovely monster face turns into that of a sickeningly adorable, rosy-cheeked little girl. And it's not switching back. And in A Forest Full of Music, we have a cheerful book about discovering unexpected talents when you don't think you have any. Let's look at Pretty Ugly. Can she find a way to stop looking like an ugly human and regain her gorgeous monstrosity of a face? Comedian and author David Sedaris and children's book author Ian Faulkner come together to ponder the question, is true beauty really on the inside? And in A Forest of Music, it's a cheerful book about discovering unexpected talents, we said. And Toby dreams of singing with the blackbirds, but fails miserably. He flees to the forest and stomps his feet. Wow, what a beat. All the animals hear it, and they join in with their own voices, stomps and noises, creating a wonderful chorus. Now, moving on to clouds, we have two more books. Beth is starting school for the first time in Ciara Gavin's Beth and Cloud Won't Change. And we have Ploof, which is an interactive picture book. Clanton and Chu Muser give readers a chance to practice empathic responses by reacting to the emotions of a cloud named Ploof. Let's see what happens in Beth and the Cloud. A cloud drifts into Beth's room, and the two are determined never to change. She tries to put Cloud in a safe place, but nothing seems to be working. Finally, they realize that life is full of change, and that's not a bad thing. In Ploof, we have one example of how readers can have an empathic response to some different emotions. For example, one page reads, "This is Ploof. Ploof is feeling lonely. Can you say hello?" Now let's peek at a couple of Muslim traditions. Have you ever heard of the Ramadan's drummer? And we also have another wonderful one called Khadija and the Elephant Toothpaste Experience. Now, in the Ramadan's drummer, we see that he is someone who wanders the streets to wake everyone up for a meal before the day's feast. In this heartwarming tale, Adam discovers that every act of kindness is rewarded tenfold during Ramadan. The Ramadan drummer teaches how community and giving are central to the spirit of the holiday. And in Kadisa and the elephant toothpaste experiment, written by passionate scientists, tells the story of a young girl who visits a science fair, sees an experiment, and wants to do one herself. Surrounded by her family as they celebrate Eid, Kadisa performs her experiment and announces that she'll be a scientist one day. In the next book, Simone, it's a poetic, haunting family story by esteemed author Viet Thanh Nguyen and gorgeous art by Vietnamese-American Minnie Phan. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. That's on that's a second book on that page. But Ellie Mae Dreams Big is the first one. And what do you want to be when you grow up? We had just seen about a little girl who wanted to be a scientist and perhaps did become one. Now in this book, Christina McMorris makes her picture book debut. And it is about a girl tackling the question of what she wants to be when she grows up. And Simone is, and I told you about Simone already, so let's look at the insets for both. Ellie Mae needs to come dressed as what she's chosen, but she's flooded with ideas. In the end, she arrives dressed as an astronaut chef, candy farmer, pirate dentist, zookeeper teacher, ballerina painter. What in the world? And in our other title, Simone, it's a powerful tale which introduces us to a young heroine who awakens to a new role fighting for her community and for the future of the planet. Next, we'll start looking around the world, starting with Aloha Everything, which is a magical story that will take you on a thrilling journey through the breathtaking islands of Hawaii. And in All Aboard the Alaska Animals, we're going to move from the 50th state back to the 49th U.S. state. It's a rollicking, rhyming adventure with Alaska's favorite animals. And inside, for Aloha Everything, we're going to see brilliant illustrations and beautiful rhyming poetry. Adults and children will be absolutely captivated. And in All Aboard the Alaska Train, it's a rollicking rhyming tale, as I told you, and 5 shiny train cars roll down the railroad tracks, picking up passengers along the way. A porcupine, a grizzly bear, a caribou, and more. Sounds like fun. Now, in the next, we discover that Delhi is one of the world's biggest cities. And we see that Denmark, when we leave India, we understand that it's a Scandinavian country known as one of the happiest places in the world. Inside, curious readers can learn about Delhi inside the books. And they can learn about how it grew from a medieval fortress to a bustling metropolis. Climb aboard a pedicab and take a tour of its history in the fun title Delhi. And for Denmark, we see a full spread fact page, which concludes the book by putting important information in about Denmark in one place. We're still moving, but not to another country or city. Instead, we're going to see Ride Beside Me, and we're going to see all the ice cream in the world. Now I'm getting pretty hungry. Anyway, in Ride Beside Me, we're watching a mother and her son ride their bike through their neighborhood, joining friends and neighbors. Before long, bicycles will outnumber cars and trucks, and the message in Ride Beside Me is that the community that rides together thrives together. Uh-oh. When we're headed to the Arctic, which is on the next page, a little polar bear awakens from his nap to discover that his home is broken off from an ice floe. It's melting, and he's floating alone on the open sea. All the ice cream in the world is a sweet story and ends with a little girl saving the polar bear with ice cream. Now, back in the water, we encounter 3 adorable mermaids who share bedtime blessings with the sweet creatures of the coral reefs. And on the second book, we have the polar bear and the coral reef creatures, and let's look at some other creatures. We see the mermaids who bless clams in their beds and lobsters in pods. They sing. Acclaimed poet Diana Hutz Aston and illustrator Renee Carilla share Mermaid's Song to the Sea, a special picture book that will have children turning the pages again and again. And in How Animals Sleep, we see gorgeous, bold block print style. Illustrations by Marie Stumpfova accompany the informative text from naturalist author Jerry Dvorak. Young minds will be fascinated to discover the amazing variety of ways the animals in the picture book sleep. Now for Little Brown Nut, a title in the Start Small, Think Big series, and Smart Speckled Egg is also in the same series. Little Brown Nut begins with a large fruit falling from the tallest tree in the Amazon rainforest. Thinking Big, the book shows why the rainforest is important to local people and the wider world. This book features a die-cut hole in the cover and large fold-out poster at the back. And in Smart Speckled Egg, a fluffy chick emerges as an Arctic tern. The story ends with her meeting her lifelong mate, and listen to this. They have 50 adorable chicks in their lifetime. Now let's step back in time to when armored fish filled the Earth's waters. That is the Dunkleosteus. I tried to pronounce that correctly. I worked on it before. I'm not sure it worked. And we also see on this the mysterious, marvelous octopus. And then we see one that really isn't step backing in time, but those are chickens. And perhaps they were back in time. Let's talk about Dunkleosteus. He introduces the life, behaviors, and body parts of the fish that has been extinct for over 350 million years. And then when we go to the Earth's most incredible ocean animal in Mysterious Marvelous Octopus, readers will be captivated by their super smarts on this next page and their awe-inspiring abilities, as well as their 8 arms, 9 brains, and one-of-a-kind personalities. And next we'll go to look at the chickens. They're helpful farm animals. They lay eggs for us to eat, and in Blast Off Readers Chickens, kids will learn that they are helpful farm animals. Each spread has light text and vibrant photos to help readers discover the unique physical traits, behaviors, and diet of these farm animals. Now, in I Am Money, we have a walking, talking billfold of cash, who takes readers through the ins and outs of money. And on this page, we also see Eyes, Nose, Belly, and Toes, my first human body book, which will walk kids through every major body part. And on the next page, we're going to see how money works. Held together by a shiny gold clip and often accompanied by anthropomorphic coins, the narrator is a smiley, positive presence who eats pizza and rides a bike. Money explains its value as well as how to earn it, mowing lawns, selling lemonade, how to spend it, how to save it, and how to share it. And on the next page, when we see Eyes, Nose, Belly, and Toes, the book uses simple language and vibrant artwork that keep them engaged as they explore how they use their eyes to see, their nose to smell, their legs to move, and their arms to wave hello. And that's it for board books, picture books, and easy readers for now. Pretty impressive group, I'd say. And let's turn to Gwen, who's going to tell us about the Spanish titles we have for you.
Thank you, Susie. And we're launching into our Spanish books. We have some very popular picture books now translated into Spanish for you. Next slide. I'm thrilled to share that these How to Catcha or Como Atrapar a un series titles are now available in Spanish and in hardcover at long last. The series encourages readers to use their brains to figure out how to set a trap to catch each subject. This year, the releases are Dinosaurio, Unicornio, and Dragon. There's also a link to the How to Catch a Scavenger Hunt here with links to further activities for each title in the series. Next slide. I'm also excited that Emily Gravat's Diez Gatos and Diez Perros from her first reader series are available in Spanish as well. Young readers will learn about sharing, counting, and colors while enjoying the funny and sometimes messy antics of the adventures of the cats and dogs they meet along the way. Next slide. Next are two titles that need no introduction. Aaron Reynolds' Creepy Crayon or La Pícaro Maléfico, and Claribel Ortega's instant New York Times bestseller, Witchlings. Both of these are now available in hardcover editions as well. Let's also note a new collection of Bible stories for Spanish speakers with full color illustrations. And I also wanted to mention the Spanish language edition of All the Ice Cream in the World, Todos los helados del mundo, releases simultaneously with the English language version that Susie introduced just a couple minutes ago. That cover in Spanish is still to come, but should be similar to the English version. And that's all we have for Spanish today. We hope to have more Spanish titles to share with you soon. You can check our excellent lists in Bibs, and I'll hand things over to Erica for middle grade.
Okay, everyone, let's launch right into this category. Next slide. With the latest installment from the dyslexia-friendly Lark Ba illustrated early chapter book series, featuring twin detectives of Kenyan and Korean descent who are super clever and, in Lark's case, capable of using various tricks throughout the story to work with her learning disability and learn new vocab words in each volume. In this edition, the twins help find a watch that goes missing during a fundraiser. Then, in the new early chapter book series, Hocus and Pocus and the Spell for Home introduces two not overly magical shelter puppies looking for a home together. Characters with a variety of gender identities and expressions fill the series and include their pronouns when introducing themselves, including non-binary characters using the singular they. This is young adult author A.R. Capetta's first foray for a younger audience. Next. A quick nod to some male-led titles. Matt Sprouts and the Curse of the 10 Broken Toes introduces Matt, who after accidentally injuring his neighbor, supposedly has the curse, a hometown myth that ruins middle schoolers' lives. To defeat the curse, Matt needs to solve the mystery and fast, but that's not easy to do when you're entering middle school and trying not to break any more toes. Book 2 arrives this fall. And in the first from the Osagi Twins series, written and illustrated by Nigerian collaborators, twins Eddie and Nosa Osagi sneak into the forbidden study of their Baba and accidentally knock over a dusty bronze vase, unleashing a trickster spirit, Eshu. As Eshu creates chaos, the boys rush to track him down before their Baba finds out what they did. It's a roller coaster of adventure, mystery, and magic, sure to engage readers. Next. Moving into biographical works, Everywhere Beauty is Harlem. The vision of photographer Roy de Carava tells the story of a child of the Harlem Renaissance who was an artistic collaborator of Langston Hughes, documenting and celebrating the lives of ordinary Black people in photos. Stunning illustrations from E.B. Lewis capture them well. And next is an interior. Then we have two titles without interiors. The middle grade version of Zora Neale Hurston's Barracoon, adapted by Ibram X. Kendi, where readers are introduced to the remarkable and true life story of Cudjoe Lewis, one of the last survivors of the Atlantic human trade, featuring black and white illustrations throughout. And finally, The Day King Died recounts the last 24 hours of his life while reminding us how his teachings continue to endure. It includes several of King's speeches and informs us about the atmosphere of the time, encouraging readers to reflect on progress made and work that still needs to be done. Next. And here's a shout out to Torque's high-low biography series, Sports Superstars. This one featuring Bryce Harper, a baseball great who earned the nickname The Showman as a star hitter at times when it was really needed. Special features include quick facts and a timeline of achievements. This series launched last year and will have 24 titles with the newest batch, including Jalen Hurts, Jesse Diggins, Megan Rapinoe, and Naomi Osaka, to name a few. Then Made in Asian America is presented by Christina Soontorvat and Erica Lee, profiling the generations of Asian Americans who have transformed the United States and who continue to shape what it means to be American today, aiming to capture the full breadth and diversity of the Asian American community and emphasizing the importance of inclusion and solidarity between the groups. Now, as we launch into the girl power portion of middle grade titles, and there are a lot of them, we start with Of Words and Water, an early middle grade picture book biography of writer and environmentalist Wilma Dykeman, tracing how her love for a local river led to her efforts to protect it and the livelihood of those who depended on it. She did not give up or give in to pressure from those who wanted to stifle her charge to fix the practices that polluted the river. It's an important book. We'll show you an interior in a second. Then in historical fiction, Force of Nature, a novel of Rachel Carson, offers a hopeful story of a young impassioned naturalist who grows up to change the world. Written in prose with interior drawings by Sophie Blackhall. As Rachel Carson said, the more clearly we can focus attention on the wonders and realities of the universe about us, the less taste we will have for its destruction. And then next is just an interior from the Wilma Dykeman title. And then next, now for our World War II inspired trio. We start with Codebreaker Charlotte, a puzzle-loving girl who receives a 9th birthday card from her great-grandmother containing a difficult code. While she tries to solve it, Charlotte discovers details about the role her great-grandmother played at Bletchley Park, a once top-secret home in the UK for World War II codebreakers. This is Cedar Wang's debut novel, and it includes a decipherable code for readers to unravel as they read. Then Candace Fleming brings us The Enigma Girls, the powerful and fascinating story of the brave and dedicated young women who helped turn the tides of World War II for the Allies. With their hard work and determination at, you'll never believe it, Bletchley Park. This Scholastic Focus edition offers a narrative nonfiction volume, thick with tension and suspense. Now, what fiction title could we pair with this one? Rounding out our trio, Sophia's War is inspired by the true story of how the Grand Mosque of Paris saved the lives of hundreds of Jews during World War II. Hiba Noor Khan waves a breathtaking tale of suspense, compassion, and courage with young heroine Sophia, whose Muslim identity keeps her safe, or at least safer than her Jewish neighbors. Once she unravels her father's strange behavior, she's led deep into the heart of the perilous underground resistance to the Nazis, where her bravery is put to the test. Next. We lighten the tone a little with Hopscotch Girls Presents Mia Madison, CEO. Mia has made a name for herself at her school as an entrepreneur after launching not one, not two, but two successful businesses. Now her classmates need her help with their own ventures, and Mia is there to help. This is the first in a series bringing the Hopscotch Girls brand, founded by a mom frustrated by the typical pink/princess/beauty gifts available for girls to Main Street Publishing. Check out hopscotchgirls.com to see what they're all about. Then in The Secret Library, We travel through time in a fantasy adventure about family secrets from Kekla Magoon. Dally finds a map that her deceased grandfather left for her, leading to an ancient vault containing a library of secrets where each book is a portal to a precise moment in time. As she checks out adventure after adventure, Dally begins to dive deep into her family's hidden history and learns that the library has secrets of its own. Definitely worth your must-read list. Okay, next up is Deep Water, a novel in verse from acclaimed author Jamie Sumner that spans one girl's marathon swim over 12 miles in 6 hours. Tully thinks that if she can become the youngest person to brave the waters of Lake Tahoe and complete the famous Godfather swim, maybe, just maybe, her mom will come back. In the end, she has to choose between safety and danger. It's a gripping and impactful story. Then, Free Period is a debut novel about Helen and Gracie, who are pranking their way through middle school when a stinky stunt lands them in the front office again. They join the school's community action club with plans to do as little as humanly possible. But when Helen is caught unprepared by an early period, the girls take over the club's campaign for maxi pads and bathrooms, going up against a clueless school board and crushes. Oh my. Might this be the Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret for the next generation? Okay, the next title from Kelly Yang is the sequel to Finally Seen, titled Finally Heard. When Lena sees her mom's video on social media take off, she's captivated. Maybe online she can finally find the confidence she craves. As Lena descends deeper and deeper into social media, it will take all her strength to break free from the likes and find the courage to be her authentic self in this fast-paced world. Then in the latest from Kate DiCamillo, Ferris. This story is rich in family and community. It's the summer before 5th grade, and for Ferris Wilkie, it's a summer of sheer pandemonium in which she needs to satisfy a specter, stop her little sister from terrorizing the town, spy on her aunt, and watch her father battle an invasion of raccoons. It's Kate DiCamillo at her best. Now for a couple of fantasy titles. Wilderlore, The Night Compass is the 4th in the series, where the villainous Audrey Keyes returns just as the election for the Grand Keeper looms closer. Barclay and his friends race to find the legendary beast in the Wilderlands before their enemy does, via the dangerous and uncharted regions of the tundra. It's up to him to save the mission, or doom it. Then In Search of Superpowers is the first in the all-new adventure series, Fantasy Pin World Adventures. It's perfect for fans of Amari and the Night Brothers and the Marvelers. The tagline goes, 4 kids, 4 pins, 4 superpowers, 1 dark secret. The all-black cast of 4 middle graders embark on an epic journey to find the mysterious pin maker who gave them powers, discover the truth behind the new theme park, and trade pins while learning how to navigate their new skills. Book 2 arrives this winter, or next winter, I guess you'd say. Now for another nonfiction-fiction pairing, Animal Minds, What Are They Thinking? Is part of the Orca Wild series with color photographs throughout. This book examines the ways scientists study animals' cognitive abilities. It's a deep dive into the minds of animals and how they think. Then in Animal Gangs, we follow 2 little otters, Audra and Oliver, on an adventure to find their way home after they wake up alone while on a boat trip with their pop. What was Pop thinking? Luckily, they get a lot of help from friendly animal gangs that are named along the way. As long as they watch out for the murder of crows, they'll be fine. Okay, next. And now we're on a whirlwind ride through middle grade nonfiction. We start off with 2 that offer reluctant readers high-interest titles written at a 3rd grade reading level. In Peregrine Falcon versus Red-tailed Hawk, the text attempts to answer the question, what would happen if they fought each other? Facts about these birds' attacks and secret weapons form the foundation as the battle comes to life. This is part of the Animal Battles series that's been building since 2021. 6 new titles are coming this month. I think they're already here, actually. Then we feature a different kind of raptor in the military aircraft series, which brings a fighter jet to life. A 2-page ending spread provides a further look at some of the capabilities of this high-powered military aircraft. There are 6 titles publishing in January for this series as well. And then next, Grand Teton National Park is part of the U.S. National Park series from Blastoff Discovery and introduces the park's history, ecosystems, top sites, and more, with fabulous photos, a formation diagram, maps, and profiles of the park's animals. There will be 12 total national parks covered with this next batch, including Grand Teton coming this month. Then for Melissa Stewart comes a new way of searching nature via shapes. In Shape Search, you can find a circle in a spider web, a rectangle in a bug's body, and a star in a blooming flower, and many more. This book offers a great way to spend time searching within the pages of the book. Okay, up next, 3 more titles for curious minds. Loch Ness Uncovered: How Fake News Fueled the Greatest Monster Hoax of All Time. Is an extensively researched, myth-busting account of the world's most famous monster hoax, the Loch Ness Monster, and a cautionary tale on the dangers of misinformation tied to this conspiracy that sparked intrigue worldwide. It's completed with archival images, an engaging narrative, and a guide to media literacy. Then from Smithsonian comes Extinctopedia, a fascinating catalog of life on Earth, which encourages readers to find ways to preserve the incredible diversity of species on our planet so we might all thrive, while also reminding us of those that have gone extinct. Now, how could we have a youth presentation without a Pooh title? What Pooh Can Do is the fascinating 29th title in the Orca Footprint series, which delves into how animals help the planet when they do number 2. From whales to dung beetles, this book explores how animals around the world are fertilizing plants, storing carbon, preventing fires, reducing methane, all through the power of Pooh. There are at least 6 more titles to come in this fantastic series. And our final nonfiction collection might be the best color scheme of the whole presentation. Why We Need Vaccines is part of the Orca Timeline series focused on STEM topics that are also in the media. This book examines the history, science, ethics, and social issues related to infectious diseases and vaccines, including discussions on misinformation, mental biases, and how to think critically about information found online or elsewhere. Then in Alive, which is written as a journal, readers will find images intertwined with short answers to philosophical questions focused on feelings of love, well-being, and overcoming emotional upsets and insecurities in an honest, gentle, and optimistic way. Questions such as, why are people sometimes unfriendly? Do my parents really love me? Do I always have to be the best? And where's my grandfather now that he's gone? Are included. And last but not least, Alone Together was written by Petty Fong, a journalist and host/researcher of the podcast by the same name, which took off during the pandemic, featuring interviews with more than 200 people around the world. The book explores loneliness and the lessons we can learn about how it can bring people together as well. This is the 12th book in the Orca Think series. And now we move on to graphic novels presented by Gwen.
Thank you, Erica. So moving into graphic novels, next slide, we start with several for younger readers coming from Andrews McMeel, where they have spent their time getting a reading expert who has leveled the readers for them, and they contain a dyslexia-friendly font. First up is Bertle and the Purple Turtles, an early graphic novel series about the only bird in Turtletown. Next slide. Tootie loves tag, but the other turtles in Turtletown don't like to play. That is, until Tootie meets Teeny. Teeny loves tag. They have tons in common, except for one big thing. Teeny may not be a turtle at all. Get ready for lots of laughs with this series. And now for a spoiler alert, book 2 publishes in May and features the color teal. Next slide. Next up is Haru Spring, also featuring a bird. And this bird gets swept up in an epic journey to save the world, along with their friend Yama, a very talkative boar. a 3-book series that spans spring, summer, and fall. Each book in the series uses a different color palette to convey the particular season. Readers who look closely at the illustrations will see evidence of human life, but post-apocalyptic evidence. Think Jeff Smith's Bone meets Lord of the Rings. Next. Here's Erica's favorite new spinoff coming in 2024. Kitten Ninja is the origin story of Cat Ninja, the very popular series from Matthew Cody, illustrated by Yehudi Mercado. Next. In this new iteration, however, our favorite feline hero takes on everything a kitten-sized ninja has to battle on the way to his heroic destiny: a sunspot that won't stay put, an irresistible ball of yarn, and every cat's arch enemy, snow. This series is written by Colleen A.F. Venable and Marcy Colleen, with kawaii-inspired artwork from Ellen Stubbings. Next. A 4th new young graphic novel series from Andrew McNeil is Zips and Elu. These 2 aliens think that they're experts in all things human, like making hummus, but they aren't exactly the experts that they claim to be. Will Zips and Elu have hummus after all? Or will they just make one big mushy mess? These gender-neutral aliens promise that new things can be fun, including new words. A very human hummus recipe for authentic Lebanese hummus is included. Next slide. Next up are 2 summer-themed middle grade titles featuring Taiwanese American leads. In Unhappy Camper, Lily Lamont and Anne Shu from Measuring Up fame team up to introduce 2 sisters rebuilding their bond. Next slide. Lily Mott was inspired to write from her own personal life and struggles with the culture classes between her 2 identities and growing up with immigrant parents. Next slide. In Fake Chinese Sounds, May's summer is highlighted by Chinese school and soccer practice, which leads to bullying and racist jokes from a new kid, which has her questioning her identity. A visit from her Taiwanese Nai helps her navigate her feelings and delve further into her roots and learn to reclaim her true self and her voice. Next. Blue Stars Mission 1 is a new series from superstar authors Kekla Magoon and Cynthia Leitic Smith about 2 cousins from very different backgrounds who move in with their grandmother. Next slide. They connect to face a common villain, a vice principal threatening to take funding away from both of their extracurricular activities. This series offers an authentic, diverse representation as the cousins are Black and Muskogee, backgrounds shared by both authors. And we don't have an inset, but the other title in this section is Shiny Misfits, in which a professional comedian, writer, and disability advocate, Maysoon Zaid, introduces a spunky tap dancing heroine, a dad with a food truck, a talking cat, amicably divorced parents, and the most loyal BFF trio ever. It includes funny, relatable character who, like the author, has cerebral palsy. Still waiting on illustrations for that one. All right, and now for a trio of LGBTQ+ graphic novels from middle grade to teen, starting with Blood City Rollers, a paranormal graphic novel series launch. Next slide. About Mina, a 13-year-old ice skater who embraces the dark side and finds her light when she joins a vampire roller derby team to die for, just in time to save the league from losing it all. It has a diverse range of gender identity, race, and ethnicity, both in the series and the creators. Then, in Rise of the Trash Can Zombies, Chuck Gonzalez's endearing character, Carlos Gomez, returns with a new dilemma after his triumphant performance at the BMX Expo. Now he's co-directing the school play with his classmate, Mark. Readers will connect with Carlos as he navigates the challenges of adolescence in this very relatable story. Next slide. And finally, Out of Left Field introduces a nerdy gay teenager who jumps headfirst into the world of high school baseball in a semi-autobiographical story from Jonah Newman, an assistant editor at Scholastic who's making his first full-length comic debut. And now on to teen books. Today's teen books are full of wit, vulnerability, and feature a full range of authentic representation and perspectives. Everything I learned about racism, I learned in school. In this powerful collection, activist Tiffany Jewell shares vignettes of systemic racism from her years growing up in the public school system, from as young as preschool all the way through higher education. Woven through Jewell's narrative are first-person accounts and poems and essays from other BIPOC authors, educators, and teenagers. And then Shackled, How Two Corrupt Judges Defiled Justice, Made Millions, and Harmed Thousands of Children, chronicles the explosive true story of the Kids for Cash scandal, in which more than 2,500 children and teens were sentenced to a for-profit correctional facility for seemingly benign crimes with harsh sentences. It turns out 2 Pennsylvania judges were bribed to send them there, making money for themselves and the company, but ruining the lives of thousands of young people. Next slide. How the Boogeyman Became a Poet is a memoir in verse from poet and hip hop educator Tony Keith Jr. From the time he was a little kid, Tony felt a boogeyman following him around, whispering negative things about his Blackness, his attraction to other boys, that he won't be able to follow his dream to attend college. How can a teen escape an inner boogeyman telling them they're worthless? Including poems from his adolescence, the author builds a powerful story of escape and success, an important read for all teens who want to embrace their identity or are feeling helpless in the face of obstacles. We think this book would have great crossover appeal for adults as well. The Queen's English, the Young Reader's LGBTQIA+ Dictionary of Lingo and Colloquial Phrases, is a young reader's edition of the popular adult guide to pop culture references, terms, and phrases that frequently come up in queer culture, explaining acronyms like AAPI, terms like ableism, as well as explaining differences between gender queer, gender questioning, gender nonconforming. The book is super informative for young people across the spectrum. In Just Another Epic Love Poem by Parisa Akbari, best friends Mitra and Bee have been writing an epic, never-ending poem for years. In their dog-eared notebook, they share heartbreaks, fights with parents, all the complicated feelings of growing up. Nothing is off limits in the book. Nothing except the huge secret that could change their friendship forever. Mitra is helplessly in love with Bee. Next slide. Louder Than Hunger is a deeply personal verse novel based on beloved librarian turned author Mr. Shu's own experiences as a teen boy with an eating disorder. Jake volunteers at a nursing home because he likes helping people. He likes skating and singing, playing bingo, name that tune. He also likes avoiding people his own age, and mirrors, and food. Jake has read about kids like himself in books, The Weird One, The Outsider, and he would do anything to not be that kid, including shrinking himself down to nothing. How long can Jake punish himself before he truly disappears? And then in Conditions of a Heart by Bethany Mangle, Bryn Kwan is desperate for her high school persona to be real. That Bryn is head of the yearbook committee, the favorite for prom queen, and definitely not crumbling from a secret disability rapidly wearing her body down. If no one knows the truth about her condition, which is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, Bryn doesn't have to worry about pitying looks, accusations of being a faker or a drama queen. But during a week-long suspension from school, Bryn realizes she no longer knows who she is inside. Would it be possible to rebuild a life around the truth? Next slide. Snow Globe by So-Young Park is a highly anticipated phenomenon translated into English from Korean. Enclosed under a vast dome, Snow Globe is the last place on Earth that's warm. Outside is a frozen wasteland where miserable citizens spend their days working at the power plant that powers Snow Globe. The only entertainment is a reality show streamed 24/7 from inside the dome, where lucky residents live in exchange for their lives being broadcast. Showbomb lives for the time she spends watching the shows being produced inside Snow Globe. When one of the stars dies and Showbomb is chosen to take her place, she finds, surprise, surprise, that life inside Snow Globe is nothing like what you see on television. Described as part Hunger Games, part Squid Game, this fast-paced read is first in a duology. The Poisons We Drink by Bethany Baptiste In a country divided by humans and witchers, Venus Stoneheart hustles, making illegal love potions to support her family. Brewing has painful side effects, and getting caught would mean a prison sentence. After her mother is murdered, Venus is approached by the powerful Grand Witcher, offering her a chance for revenge. The price? Brewing potions to enslave DC's most influential politicians. As Venus crawls deeper into the corrupt underbelly of the city, the line between magic and power blurs, and Venus has to decide what is worth fighting for. Beastly Beauty by critically acclaimed author Jennifer Donnelly is a gender-flipping retelling of Beauty and the Beast. After a tragic, angry outburst, fiery Arabella and everyone she cares about are cursed and trapped inside a castle. Years later, a young thief makes his way into the castle. Spooked by the malevolent presence that stalks the corridors, Beau wants only to escape. Can Arabella and Beau learn to trust their wounded hearts and realize that the cruelest prisons are the ones we build for ourselves? We know how this story goes, but no one can revolutionize a fairy tale like Jennifer Donnelly. Readers will eat this one up. Next slide. Made Glorious by Lindsay Eager is inspired by Richard Shakespeare's Richard III. This novel lifts the curtain and breaks the fourth wall as high school thespian Rory confides exactly how far she will go to land the leading role in her school's senior musical. Charming, conniving, downright nasty underdog will make readers wince, cheer, and root for her against their will. Blending multiple viewpoints, excerpts from the script, musical numbers, this well-paced, compulsive page-turner taps into the dark side of high school theater. Drama queens and fans of Eager's intense The Family Fortuna will grab up this latest novel. That's Not My Name by Megan Lawley. Shivering and bruised, a teen wakes up on the side of a road with no memory of how she got there or who she is. Taken to a police station, she meets a frantic man who has her school ID, her birth certificate, family photos. He is her father. Her name is Mary, or so he says. But the more her memory begins to return, the less sense these things make. Meanwhile, across the river, Drew is searching for his missing girlfriend, Lola, who has been missing for weeks. Told from dual points of view, this twisty amnesia thriller will have teens following breadcrumbs and quickly turning the pages. And finally, It Waits in the Forest by Sarah Doss. Unlike the other residents of the small Caribbean island of St. Virgil, Selena de Silva does not believe in magic. With a logical mind and a knack for botany, Selena used to dream of leaving the island to become a pharmacologist until a vicious unsolved attack left her father dead and her mother in a coma. Now her mother's condition keeps her tethered to the island, relegated to conning gullible tourists. When one of those tourists ends up at the center of a string of strange murders, the truth that Selena has been denying can no longer be avoided. There is evil lurking in the forests that surround St. Virgil. This first thriller from Rick Riordan Presents features a trifecta of YA trends: a supernatural thriller, a generational family mystery, and a rekindled romance, all in one. And that's it for our titles. I will turn things back over to Erica for our conclusion.
Yeah, thanks, Gwen. And before we go, I wanted to make sure everyone saw the QR code for our Black History Month contest, which ends at midnight tonight. So don't forget to enter. You can find the link on our Facebook page as well. If you can't scan the code quickly enough here, we want to ensure there's time to get the prizes shipped for the start of Black History Month. And then next, here's a recap of all of the publishers listed alphabetically who provided us with early previews so that we might pull today's webinar together for you. There's so much to look forward to with thanks to them. And that's a wrap. Next, thank you for joining us today. We will have the recording of this webinar up on our YouTube channel soon, so you can get access to all of the QR codes we showed you today and links present and links. Stay tuned on our Broad Art Youth Services Facebook page for the announcement of when that's ready as well. And thank you.
Thank you guys. Great job. just so that you know, the Black History Month contest is also up on our webpage. So if you go to the broadart.com webpage, you'll find it. Great job, amazing books. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.